Why can't you say who? What do you have to lose?
Because I'm not sure that I'm right.
Can you say, I think?
Now that was some real journalism. Why wouldn't Candace fight with me this long when I blew her the fuck out for faking her college education, which she absolutely fucking did, by the way? Why is Candace Owens trying to rehabilitate Harvey Weinstein? Uh-oh, Jew. Wait, is she trying to rehabilitate Harvey Weinstein? She flamed out of Daily Wire for taking a stand against Israel, but now she uses her platform to defend a Democrat pervert with ties to Israeli intelligence. So weird.
But have you considered that it could be deeper, that there was somebody who wanted...
Why does this motherfucker look like Zordon from the Power Rangers movie after Rita broke his containment facility?
Zordon!
Right? A little bit?
Of his time warp. He's dying.
Have you considered that it could be deeper, that there was somebody who wanted you put away, that there may have been someone who wanted your company? Because to me, there is just
Wait, what? I'm trying to think of what is the Candace Owens angle here. So she generally blames Jews on for controlling the media. Weinstein is like her perfect conspiratorial fall guy. He's a crazy Jew dude in charge of a lot of the media apparatus and movies and stuff that's trying to gayify and wokeify and transify all of our society. Probably from the Mossad or from Israel. Why would Candace be on his? I'm so confused. Unless she's trying to take the angle of like all women complaining about being or molested or like, you know, forced to do sexual acts are for all of that was fake. But why would you I feel like you'd care about the anti-Israel angle more than some weird feminist angle. I feel like that's so 2016. I don't know. All right.
There is just overwhelming evidence that you were set up here. It looks to me like a modern day hit. I don't know who you upset. I don't know what they were after, but it just looks to me like a rigged system and they took you out. To me, it looks like it was just a show trial and the outcome was already determined before you even stepped into that courtroom. I do think that you stepped on somebody's toes. Like there's somebody's toes that you stepped on that you may not have been aware of when you were in Hollywood because you had a lot of power.
Candace Owens does a lot of culture stuff, by the way. This is this is like your woman's entrance point into these weird alt-right spaces. I don't know if you know that. If you ever are chatting up a cutie pie and you're like, oh, do you follow media stuff? It's like, oh, a lot of stuff. It's like, oh, do you ever look at like Joe Rogan? I'm like, no. What about like Daily Wire stuff? Do you know what Ben Shapiro is? Like, no. Oh, do you follow any kind of politics stuff? Like, not really, no. And it's like, oh, well, what do you think about like do you see like the Diddy trial stuff? Oh, yeah, Candace covered that. Also, did you know that French Macron's wife is definitely a man? And I think that the MH-113 flight flew into the... And it's like, oh, hold on, wait. Oh, yeah, Candace Owens, she does so much culture stuff. Candace Owens covers a ton of pop culture stuff. I think it's probably her biggest thing. Like, we don't cover much on my stream. We don't talk about her, and it seems like she's like disappeared. But I don't think so. I think her culture stuff is still pretty popular, no? Harvey speaks. Exclusive interview on his retrial. Russell Brand, what a horror. Oh, and this guy hosts her show now. It's so cringe. Ugh. One of my favorite normie creators casually dropped Candace Owens. Yikes. Okay, sorry.
You had a lot of power.
I can't say who.
Why not? Why can't you say who? What do you have to lose?
Because I'm not sure that I'm right.
Can you say, I think? Maybe.
Now that was some real ass journalism. Do you know who did it? Well, I don't want to say because I'm not sure. We'll just say, I think this person did it.
That I'm right.
Can you say, I think? Maybe. I really want to push you on this point, Harvey, because I think it's very significant. I mean, you had the greatest movies that were in Hollywood. You had a lot of power, and I'm wondering if there was anybody in Hollywood.
Wait, what were Harvey Weinstein movies even? I actually have no idea. Are these movies that I liked? Oh, no. Pulp Fiction? As a producer, though, right? What do producers even do? Do we even give a fuck? Never mind, don't care.
That you may have been fighting with at that time. Just anything that could have been going on. Because I think there's something bigger happening here.
There wasn't a fight per se, but the establishment, I would not say, was my friends.
Right. And what is the establishment in Hollywood?
It's normally the big studios, but I can't say that they were part of this.
Right.
Because he also doesn't... Well, how long is he in jail for? Wait, Harvey Weinstein Wikipedia. Let's go back. Conviction overturned. Wait, this is a question for AI. When does Harvey Weinstein get out of jail? He is currently serving a 23-year sentence in New York for a 2020 conviction. Damn. Which was later overturned. And he served a 16-year sentence in California for a 2022 conviction. Damn. The New York conviction has been overturned and a retrial is scheduled. Oh, this guy doesn't want to say any before his retrial. That'd be really bad. California remains in effect. He will remain in prison. He's eligible for parole in New York in 2039. Is he serving the California sentence in New York? He pushed hard to get everything everywhere all at once greenlit. Oh no. And we put him in jail for how long? Wait, what exactly did this guy do again? Just kidding. Stop. Oh, damn, he's 73. Good luck.
I'm just wondering, like, who in the end, who owns all those movies now? Who owns your catalog? What happened to your company?
We sold the catalog to a company called Be-In, you know what I mean, which is owned by the Qatari government, and we sold the other part of the library to a company called Spyglass.
Qatar, we don't like talking bad things about Qatar and Russia and stuff, so sorry, try again.
And Lantern, which is owned by the Saudi Arabian government.
Very interesting. I'm asking these questions because my investigation into this isn't going to stop.
Do you think he knows that she's trying to pin it on the Jews? Is he totally clueless here? I have no clue. Sometimes I wonder when I watch people. It's so weird. Remember, we running this, repeat the clip. I need saved clips for this when we talk about this, right? Remember back in 2016, it was constantly, Twitter is not real life, Twitter's not real life. And then as time has gone on, real life has turned into Twitter, right? It actually is real life, unfortunately. Sometimes I feel like I've spent so much time in like these weird Nazi circles or these weird things that, and then we spend so much time covering other political people that it's like very obvious in my mind to see how people are politically, but some people seem to miss that a lot. Actually, even people in my community. Like when I said I think Hassan is more likely to genocide the Jews than Myron is, like it seems like, I don't know how many of you guys, but some percentage of you got really ass-paying. He's like, oh, you just hate Hassan and that's why you're saying that. But I was like, well, no, the ideology is like very obvious. Like Myron would want to kick all the Jews out of the U.S., maybe kill them, I guess. And then he would say, he didn't give a fuck. Hassan would want to destroy the country of Israel, even if that meant a genocide of the Jews, 100%. These are just like ideological things that I feel like are pretty obvious. Another really obvious one that I was so surprised was Ted Cruz going on to talk to Tucker Carlson. Like there has to be a lot of lack of understanding of what these people are politically if Ted Cruz thought he was going on to that for like just a super friendly interview, especially related to Iran. That's just wild to me. But I don't know if the staffers don't watch enough or if the people don't watch enough or if there's some like trickery there or what, but maybe it could be that Harvey Weinstein, like, well, another thing too, you kind of have to know life this shit. Like you can't, like you really have to be in here to understand the dog whistles and to understand like the wordplay and to understand what people really mean when they say a thing. It's pretty hard, I guess, if you're not living and breathing all this autistic shit. So Tucker and Ted had friendly interviews before, so Ted probably just got lay rused. Yeah, but Tucker used to be significantly different before, right? Tucker used to be like the literal quasi neocon turned MAGA supporter turned like full on Russian simp now. He's a full Russian simp, you know? Okay, so where were we? Okay, so Nick Fuentes says, why is Candace Owens trying to rehabilitate Harvey Weinstein? She flamed out of Daily Wire for taking a stand against Israel, but now she uses her platform to defend a Democrat pervert with ties to Israeli intelligence. So weird. I don't know. Didn't you say I was likely funded by Russia through the Tate brothers? Can't lie. It was definitely Putin that made me tell you that marriage was aspirational. Vladimir hits me up on WhatsApp and asks me to do the most random things, LOL. Candace has absolutely taken trips to Russia before on Russian dime and has gotten paid for those trips. I 100% know that. I don't know how much she talks about or anything, but that is absolutely true. I don't know how much that influences her current media take or anything like that. But so your answer is, I don't know. I'm not the only one wondering why you would use your platform to rehabilitate a Mossad-connected Democrat pervert. But just last week, I was tagged in a clip of you claiming it was Russia that was backing me. Do you think it's the Mossad now? The Israelis say it's Qatar that's funding me. So at this point, I really don't know. Everyone is wondering why you crashed out on your boss Ben Shapiro just so you could rehabilitate a degenerate Zionist like Harvey Weinstein, especially after your little Frankist stunt last year. It's all just a bit suspicious. Hopefully you can reassure us. Thank you. I think the best way to handle this is for you to post a clip screaming, I'm a real man again, and refer to me as a few more times to really prove it. Because if a man is calling a woman a stupid bitch, is he even really a man? I think not. This is the way forward. Why don't you put the phone down and go make me a sandwich? And then once you've calmed down and collected yourself, explain why you are trying to help Harvey Weinstein and convince us that it's the Frankists and not the Jews. I'm literally shaking right now. How will I ever survive being told to go make you a sandwich? You really are setting an example for real men everywhere. I'm trying my best to calm down and collect myself, but I'm a woman, so give me time. Do you know the Frankists lore? I feel like the Frankists were tied into the Jew. Is this something related to communism a long time ago or something? feel like I've heard Candace bring this up before. I don't remember. Oh, no, not at all. Frankism was a Sabbatian religious movement originating in Rabbinic Judaism of the 18th and 19th centuries. Created in Podolia, what the is that? Is a historic region in Eastern Europe. Okay. It was named after its founder, Jacob Frank. Frank completely rejected Jewish norms, preaching to his followers that they were obligated to transgress moral boundaries, embracing antinomianism. Antinomianism is any view which rejects laws or legalism and argues against moral, religious, or social norms. What? Okay, I don't know. Take all the time you need. Turkey, provolone, lettuce, and tomato, please. Easy mayo, thanks, hun. I'm sorry, I hurt your I don't like this. I feel like this is a bad sandwich. Sorry. I'm sorry, I hurt your feelings. Everyone can see that you are totally not a raging bitch. The thing is, I'm just not myself when I'm hungry. That's why I need a sandwich. Is that the joke from the Snickers commercial? So good. Keep going, Nick. Total annihilation cope ratio, bro. No way I can survive this. True, you seem totally unbothered right now. Look, I'm not trying to annihilate you. I just want to keep pushing Harvey Weinstein the frankest on us, but you're being really defensive. What? Why am I reading this? To be honest, the walls are closing in on me. You're too close to covering how me, the Tate brothers, Israel, and Russia are working together to bring down France.
I don't hate Candace Owens.
Yeah.
I don't have a big problem with her. And I think she's doing good work. She's bringing a lot of people around to the truth. And she throws in a lot of nonsense about Brigitte Macron and other stuff I don't agree with.
Yeah.
I think that's nonsense. But
Yeah, that is. She's saying that this dude is married to his dad.
yeah, that the French president's wife is not just a transgender man, but is also his father. He's married to his, and I'm like, you lost me. I mean, that's a little out there.
I have multiple, half of them ex now, real life friends, by the way, who believe this, by the way. I don't know how pervasive this is on other parts of the internet, but Jesus Christ.
So I
hadn't heard about the dad thing, but in terms of people that listen to Candace Owens, like just in passing, that believe that 100% that Macron's wife is a man, that is super pervasive, I guess, among some people, or at least, yeah.
I hate her.
It's so funny how that's the line for you, though.
Well, because that's crazy. Like that's,
dude,
you lost me.
You're funny to me. That's the line.
I've heard that I've heard that the Michelle Obama is a man thing. The Michelle Obama thing is like, oh, she's got broad shoulders, so she must be a man. That's that. But Candace is like a whole lot. I think didn't Candace do like a 7-part series on how Macron's wife is actually his brother or is a man or something? Like she has gone way, way further. Candace Owens, I think, is on record saying, I will stake my entire professional career and reputation on Macron's wife being a man. Like for some reason, she's massive on it. Yeah, and she, Macron is suing Candace now for this.
No. That.
I mean, come on. He's married to, maybe she's transgender, but she's his dad? Come on.
It's insane.
I mean,
It's a little insane.
that's a little out there. And I have my reasons for why I think she's pushing that. I don't know how sincere that is, but
What do you think that is? Why do you think she's pushing that?
honestly, this is going to sound maybe equally crazy, but I think it's like Russian propaganda because France is Russia's mortal enemy right now for a variety of reasons. Because France is pushing the Ukraine war harder than anybody, and because Russia is overthrowing all of France's.
France wants the Ukraine war harder than anyone. You're
Yes.
saying? Okay.
They want their troops in Ukraine. There are their troops in Ukraine.
Okay.
And Russia is overthrowing all of the French allied governments in Africa.
Why doesn't Nick seem to simp for Russia? So not to do the whole thing, like I hate lefties or whatever, but for people like Nick, Nick is an America First guy who believes that who does believe there are foreign enemies that would try to destroy us, and who would want to do everything he could for America to overcome those foreign enemies. Now, one of those foreign enemies just also happens to be the Mossad in Israel, and which is why Jews controlling our culture and banks and all that are bad too. But his position, like, also he's read more on a lot of these things, and even if they're kind of as long as Israel's not involved, he'll probably have like a decent understanding of the foreign policy issue, just based on what I've heard him say. Now, once Israel gets involved, then the brains break. But
which France relies on. So they're like mortal, suffice to say, they're mortal enemies right now. And I think, why would somebody be so...
He was simping for Putin and Russia a lot in like 2022. He just pivoted Israel stuff now. Didn't you debate on Russia? I don't know if I would say that he was necessarily simping for Russia and Putin, more so that because a lot of these America First types, whether you're talking about MAGA or the neo-Nazis or whatever, don't want us to be involved at all in any international conflict. And as a result of that, they will argue for peeling back NATO. They will argue that Ukraine is corrupt and horrible. They might even argue some pro-arguments related to Russia, but it's not because they're pro-Russia. It's just because they really don't want the U.S. to be involved. And then in terms of being the Russia simp stuff, the simping that a lot of these types, it also infected a lot of the manosphere movement too. The reason why they simped for the Russian types is because Russia and Putin, they come across as like strong men, and these types of like authoritarian fascist types love the strong man archetype. So like you hate feminism and you hate like gay culture and LGBT stuff and woke stuff, and you're strong on your religion and all that. Now the reality of the situation doesn't matter, right? How strong do they actually stand on this? How strong are these men? It's just the attitude, and that was the thing that they were very simpy for. Like, I don't think there's ever a world, I could be wrong, but I don't think there's ever a world where Nick would be like, yeah, I think I would move to Russia. I think Nick would just say Russia does some things that we need to start doing in this country again, like throwing gay people off roofs or being, stronger. I don't know if they do that in Russia, unless it's a political enemy of Putin. But
fixated on Macron, of all people, the French president. What does that have to do with us? And there's this salacious scandal. So, and one of the things this is maybe a bridge too far for you or for the audience, but one of the things I've really learned over the time that I've been doing this, in addition to the rabbit hole of Israel and the Jewish religion and the rest of it, is the extent to which so much of the media is involved with the intelligence agencies. And so maybe 2 years ago, I didn't believe any of that. Now, I think that the Russians, and to an extent, yes, the Qataris, the Emiratis, the Saudis, the Turks, the Israelis, they all have a hand in a lot of the media. And the Tenet thing was a huge scandal. You remember Tenet Media, where Tim Pool and Lauren Chen and Dave Rubin, they were getting $10 million from the Russians.
Confirmed.
Yes, from Russia. And it was a huge scandal. And
I hate that. Is it Bradley Martin asks that like that's like a huge revelation? Like, confirmed? Really? Yeah, I guess they didn't even contest it, dog. Oh, my God. Oh, I wonder how much he knows about like the Hunter Biden, the Joe Biden crime family, and didn't know that. God, that kills me. It wasn't even like contested. They were just like, yeah, we got that money, but we were victims. We actually got with that money. We were non-consensually given all that money from Russia.
That and other things kind of woke me up to the overlap. Now, that's a theory. That's pure speculation with Candace. That's my hunch. I haven't done a deep dive on that, and I have no proof of that, but you just try to, like we were talking about earlier, how do you discern? Why is she going so hard against the French president? You say, well, who has it out for France right now? You say, well, Russia. And who else has it out for France? Well, France just recognized Palestine's statehood.
I saw that, and I saw it was a long tweet that just seemed to be like, there needs to be peace and all this stuff, right?
And that's what the Israelis said. They said, you are rewarding terrorism. You're on the side of the terrorists. You're going to get Israel annihilated. They said you're crusading against Israel to destroy Israel for saying he recognizes Palestinian statehood. Now, France, historically, has always been hypercritical of the neocons. He was, not Macron in particular, but France was against the war in Iraq. They're against any campaign against Iran. They're pro-Palestine. They're against Israel's involvement in Lebanon. So... and what you realize is that Israel and Russia are very tight for the reasons we talked about earlier.
I didn't hear that part of Israel and Russia being very tight.
Because there is such a big Russian Jewish diaspora that left Russia to go to Israel.
In like the 1800s. I mean.
So Russia and Israel are like this.
This is what I mean. Like as soon as Israel becomes involved, it becomes like brain broken and I guess. So, okay.
France. Israel now hates France. Now, when you see someone gunning for the French...
No, in the 90s, after the fall of the USSR, how much of the... how many people moved after that? My understanding is the vast majority of Jewish people in Israel now, over half of them that are there now, came from other Middle Eastern countries. And then a good chunk, like 80% of the other half, came from European places, like Western Europe. I know that there were... the first two waves of Jews that tried to go to the Levant were Russian from East Russia, like in 1880 and like 1902 or something. I don't know how many moved after the fall of the Soviet Union. Somebody link me a number. Oh wait, AI. Oh wait, hold on. Let's try our Grok out. I'll try them for stream. Hold on. How many Jews moved from Russia to Israel after the fall of the Soviet Union? Question mark. Okay, he'll tell me.
French president. And there were even rumors, Researcher, which was run by Chuck Johnson years ago, they had a campaign saying that Macron was a gay man in 2017. So you have these elements on the right wing that over 10 years are perpetrating this campaign to say Macron is gay. No, his wife is a man. His wife is his dad, actually. And you say, who hates Macron the most? If it's Russia and Israel and they're in connection, cui bono, who benefits? Maybe there's something going on there. He's not, I don't love him, but I just see the people that are against him.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Well, dude, that's like getting into what? You thinking at some point someone comes and says, hey, Candace, you have this big platform. Maybe use it for a little bit of this. Here's some money.
I don't know if it's that
because
explicit.
they didn't call you a Fed too, right?
They do, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone gets called the Fed like that, but and on some level you have to be careful with everybody. But I don't know exactly how that works. I'm sure maybe in her heart of hearts she thinks that's real, but I wonder who put her onto that because that's a pretty obscure theory. There's a lot of people in France that push that. And how did that get on her radar? That's what I'm interested in. But
I get it.
she could be sincere. I don't know. That's speculative.
Damn, Grok's still thinking. He's going through a lot of sources. He's doing a lot of work right now, okay? Okay, this was a whole waste of time. Why the fuck did I?
Candace
Okay.
Owens.
I don't care.
A lot of people might watch this and say, oh, Nick is going liberal. In many ways, I have kind of, I don't want to say taken like a leftward turn, but I have become... and I think as happens with everybody, you get a little older and I become a little bit less like, I would say ideologically, in favor of autocracy, but also just skeptical of a lot of the arguments for it because there's this old argument from Carlyle where he says the best form of government is where you find the most capable man and make him the dictator. And to me, that just seems like a LARP. That just seems like role play because it's like, yeah, and if we could, make everything awesome, we would make everything awesome, but it's like, as I get older, I sort of reflect and say life in America was pretty good, actually, for the past few hundred years. It is a stable society. It is a society where I think people have been able to get along pretty well.
When he says liberal here, he doesn't mean liberal like Democrat or left-leaning. He just means liberalism, like a democracy, like a democratic form of government, as opposed to an autocracy or an authoritarian rule.
And so I've been a little more skeptical of some of the, rambunctious stuff I said.
I don't know why in America we use liberal for Democrat. It's so confusing. So much of the international political conversations or broader political conversations up for political ideology. What the fuck is this?
Which side are
You fast, Hollywood.
Jesus.
Bam! The world discovers that you've been covering up for a serial rapist. America voted for a misogynist, said every actor and actress everywhere.
What, is she 20 in this? How long ago was this?
Just after they had got finished smooching up to Harvey Weinstein.
And I want to thank you, Candace, for giving me the opportunity to speak.
I do not remember when I was growing up having all of these race issues, okay? I really don't remember it. And then suddenly towards the end of...
That's a nice lie, because in high school, her parents literally sued the school because a student was racist to her, and they got a $10,000 payout or something, but okay.
Obama, we started hearing all of this rhetoric drummed up. It became white versus black all over again. And I say all over again, I shouldn't even say that because when I was alive, this was not an issue.
In 2007, Owens accused white males of racially harassing and threatening.
Oh shit, I was wrong. They brought up the actual rate. My bad. I should look that up. Okay, it was 37,000, not 10,000. My bad. My point is even stronger though.
To kill her. Owens' family received a settlement of $37,500 from Stamford Public Schools.
Whoever it is that is calling for speech to be censored is a liar, okay? A liar. I don't care what the subject is. You should be allowed to hear the debate. I do not care who the person is. You should be allowed to hear what they say.
Hey guys, my name is Candace Owens and I am the founder of Social...
By the way, heuristic for you. Anybody that is constantly talking... Well, actually, never mind. That was stupid. Nope, never mind. I was going to say something dumb. I'm conflating two subjects. When there are people that obsessively talk about free speech so much and yo, we should all be able to talk, blah, 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 but they never actually say anything. They just talk about free speech. But I guess Candace Owens does say anything. But I was conflating that with the just asking questions thing. People are what's going on with this? Why isn't this a thing? It's well, I don't know. Have you looked it up? But this is not the same. Okay, there. See? I should have asked Grok for that. I should have passed by him first. See? Up. My job's going to get replaced.
Autopsy.com.
There are literally...
She looks like she's 18 in this video. How old are these videos?
Candace Owens, and I am the founder of socialautopsy.com.
There are literally thousands of instances of hate speech being circulated online.
So what we do is we attach their words to their places of employment, and anybody in the entire world.
I'm saying this not just like rhetorically, but I think Candace started really, really young in the media. She might have started as a progressive first, actually. I'm not going to pretend to ever remember her name. The black lady that I talked to with the cool hair at the PragerU, I want to say her name is like Boji. I can't even guess it. But she also started off, I think, like as a progressive, and then became like a conservative.
What we are doing is figuratively lifting the masks up.
Social Autopsy is your digital footprint, so be mindful of the words that you share. There is no stone that I will leave unturned when it comes to harming children. This was the red line, and it is absolutely foolish for Trump to think that he can redirect the energy of MAGA somewhere else and tell us, oh no, don't look over there.
The first case involves a man who I am not going to name. Only reason I'm not going to name him is because at the time of the allegations against him was in fact a minor, and that of course is relevant. So we just want to be ethical here and not expose his name so that people can look up the case.
Pause. So she wants to be ethical here, and she's protecting the man who has been convicted of a sex crime against 2 different minors because there was a minor involved. However, she has no problem saying what the minor's name is, but she's not mentioning the actual name of Keith Fox, who was convicted and sentenced to 24 years in prison for sexually abusing 2 different minors.
Performed deviant sexual acts in the bedroom, such as urinating on her during intercourse.
Yeah, he's the victim. He's the victim here. The 57-year-old married man who is urinating on a 15-year-old child is the victim.
All of the blame. They always want to blame Israel, no matter what. The strangest things. Anything could happen. It could not rain for 3 days, and it's cursed Israel. These characters are just being inserted into places to serve Israel. That makes Israel the master of the universe.
Okay, I don't know what this milk bar thing is, but this is, but okay.